Hello, nerds.
Nerd!
Today we're going to go through the next couple episodes of Itch. I didn't realize how short the first video was going to be, so we're going to do episodes 3, 4, and 5 this morning. Story so far, Louisiana, southern Louisiana. There was a offshore oil rig where patient zero, I believe his name is Scott Griffin, got a discharge from some aquatic life that they had located on his arm. We don't know if it was a toxin, just saliva or something, but it ended up putting boils on his skin, which ruptured, apparently causing him to go insane, and he murdered his whole family. Then they caught him bathing in his own family's blood. So my thought is the holes that were left on him after the boils ruptured allow for the intake or ingest of blood. I'm thinking because something has made him become a host for a parasite or something like that. I could be wrong, but that's just what it sounds like to me. So right now we're on Itch File 3. Description of it says things get itchier. So let's give this a look. What you're about to hear are not the original voices of Dr. Christopher Wells, Sheriff Lane, and Scott Griffin. They are computer-generated recordings and attached to the respective file. All right, file 3, this is day after the oils popped, I believe. He's in quarantine.
We placed Mr. Griffin in the infectious disease ward, where we bound him to his bed. During transport to the hospital, he ripped the skin from his forearm. I could literally see bone. It surprised me how little he bled. Once we arrived at the hospital, I prescribed a series of powerful antihistamines and steroids. Unfortunately, it did very little to help Mr. Griffin's situation. Sheriff Lane wanted to question the patient, so we used the telephones as a makeshift intercom. I took notes of the conversation.
This is interrogation 718.
Why did you kill your family, Mr. Griffin?
I didn't want to, but they made me.
Who made you?
The things in my skin. The rash. This damn itch.
So, you hurt your family because of the things on your skin?
They just wouldn't stop itching unless I fed them.
How did you know the blood would stop the itching?
I just knew. It's like they told me without actually saying anything. And the more they told me, the more my skin itched. It was 1,000 times worse than anything I've ever felt. Every part of me felt like it was covered in ravenous ants. And it's not just my skin, it's my insides too. My brain. My heart. Even the inside of my stomach felt like it was itchy. And to be honest, I don't remember hurting them. I didn't have a moment of clarity until I sat in that damn tub. And then I was me again, but better. The itching didn't just stop. I felt better than I ever had, at least until I realized what I had done. I tried to slit my wrists, but my muscles tensed. They kept me from doing it. And I know why. My body is infested with whatever this is.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. We'll be talking again.
All right, so it sounds like Parasite's somewhat sentient if he is saying that they're telling him to do this. And it's not just skin, it's his entire body, his internal organs. His brain, his heart.
What do you think, Dr. Wells? You buying any of this? Because I'm having a hard time believing he committed murder because of some sort of allergic reaction.
I can only say that I've never seen anything like what's happening to his skin. And I think the best course of action would be to quarantine anyone he's been in contact with, examine them, and possibly alert the CDC.
How fast can you test him and let me know if there's any truth to what he's saying?
I can expedite the tests, but please, find those people.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, we were too late. By the next morning, several new patients with
it's
symptoms
spreading.
similar to Mr. Griffin's were admitted. 3 others were reported to the police for murdering and butchering their victims in the same fashion as Mr. Griffin.
Please see subsequent files for more information on patients exposed to the Omega helminthus. Oops. Let me write that down real quick. St. Roch's gas station. Oh, that's so unsettling. Oh, I hate the look of pores, especially that big. Oh. So there's 3 more patients. Oh. That is hard to look at. So he was at the gas station. He was at the gas station when that cyst popped. They had to, I believe his family was going somewhere, and he had to stop at a gas station restroom, and I believe as he was going in there, the cyst that he had on his body ruptured. Azrael, you were being frisky this morning. Yes? Happy to see me this morning? That's my sweet boy. I had to get some coffee too. It's about 6 a.m. Oh, it looks like, oh, stuff's coming out of them. That's horrifying. You don't have trypophobia now. You probably will have it after you get done watching these. It's quarantine. Let me. I don't know why this isn't in full screen. There we go. January 7th. The illness is obviously
This illness
contagious.
is obviously contagious. I made sure to take the proper precautions when gathering blood samples. For the newest patients, their open sores did not react in an unusual manner, but Mr. Griffin's sores sprayed white mucus in my direction with alarming aim. The closer I got,
Wow.
the more intense the reaction. Mr. Griffin told me he wouldn't live long if he didn't feed them. I think the patient is delusional from the lack of fluids and nutrition, but it is possible the reaction is impairing his thinking. Also, getting the proper sample size from Mr. Griffin proved to be a challenge. His body seemed to struggle to produce enough fluids for a proper sample. I decided it was in the patient's best interest to keep him sedated and revisit this in the morning. My hope is the reaction subsides, but I fear things may unfortunately be worse.
Infectious Diseases Ward, January 8th.
As I feared, by morning, Mr. Griffin looked much different.
Oh.
Overnight, Mr. Griffin's entire body had swollen. He died at 10:14 a.m. When the hospital staff approached to resuscitate, he exploded, possibly further spreading the infection.
Ooh. Holy crap. That was at 10:20, 6 minutes after he died.
To say that I've seen nothing like this is an understatement. Hell, I don't think anyone has.
Wow. Okay. So, what do we know so far? There are 3 more infectious people. On the 6th of January, he got interrogated by the sheriff. Doesn't remember killing his family, but he said whatever's inside him had made him kill his family. On January 7th, the holes in his skin started shooting white mucus, probably as a defense mechanism. Or maybe that's how he's, you know how a fly throws up on their food to liquefy it before they eat it. That's a disgusting thought in and of itself. And on the 8th, he died at 10:14 a.m., and then his body exploded, covering the nurses in viscera and goo. So that was file 3. Let's go to file 4. Second alert was issued on January 11th at 15 p.m. on all channels in southeast Louisiana. It premiered 24 hours after the first was broadcasted. The alert followed the previous video until it was later updated.
Regional Alert 2, Primary Entry Point System, issued an emergency action notification alert. A dangerous pathogen has been identified in St. Roch and the surrounding area. Any and all precautions are advised. The situation is ongoing, and the public will be updated as new information is learned. Residents inside the town of St. Roch and the surrounding communities are under a mandatory quarantine. Anyone breaking the quarantine will be arrested. Anyone believed to be infected will be executed on site. Do not leave your home until military personnel can escort you to safety. Repeat. Do not leave your home until military personnel can escort you to safety. It is vital that the infected be avoided at all costs. The pathogen is believed to be highly contagious. Infected individuals can be identified by open sores found all over their body.
All right, so now they have the military taking over, some sort of martial law. And they say they would be, go back a little, say they'd be
can escort you to safety. It is vital that the infected be avoided at all costs. The
Well, they said something
pathogen
about
is
being
safety. It is vital that leave your home
shot.
until can escort you to safety will be executed on site.
Yeah, there we
Do
go.
not leave your home
They'd be
until
executed
military
on
personnel
site.
can escort you to
Wow.
safety. Repeat. Do not leave your home until military personnel can escort you to safety. It is vital that the infected be avoided at all costs. The pathogen is believed to be highly contagious. Infected individuals can be identified by open sores found all over their body. Transmission from the pathogen is delivered through a white mucus secreted from the sores.
Okay, so that's how the disease spreads.
Symptoms of the itch. 1. Cysts develop on the skin between 3 to 4 hours. 2. Cysts open within 4 to 5 hours. 3. Infected will develop a severe itchy sensation. 4. Infected will try to feed the open sores blood and fluid to stop the itchy sensation. Warning. Do not go near the infected dead. They are still highly infectious and extremely dangerous. An infected corpse still secretes the infectious mucus. Some reports have indicated that an infected corpse can explode, infecting anyone in a 30-foot radius.
30
If
foot
infected,
radius, wow.
you can try to sever the infected area and burn the appendage. Otherwise, at the moment, there is no known cure. If severing the appendage is not possible, lock yourself up until military personnel can reach you.
And execute on site. That is scary. Nope. So that was episode 4. Let's check out episode 4. Oh, I forgot to go back and look and see what the description said. What are the rules of itch? Okay. This says, following is Melissa Bates' first-hand account of her encounter with Mr. Griffin. The accompanying images and voice are computer generated. This is January 8th. So this is the day he died in the hospital. I would imagine she is probably infected too. Oh yeah. What, baby? Talkative. This. So gross. I'm sorry I keep saying that. It's just really unsettling.
I could tell Mr. Griffin was sick the moment he stumbled into the gas station. I thought he might was having a heart attack when he collapsed to the floor. I had to go help him, do the right thing. I didn't even notice the bumps until I was helping him to his feet. The poor man looked like he was in pain. His skin was so hot, it was like he walked out of an oven. And that's when I heard something pop. I could feel something wet in my hand. At first, I thought it was blood, but it was too gritty to be blood. It was wet, but it was rough like sand. And it was white and yellow like snot.
Oh,
Before I
gross.
could even look at what it was, I heard more pops. Every one of them just exploded. More of whatever it was got on me and everywhere else in the store. It was shooting out of him like bullets. It was disgusting. And after that, Mr. Griffin just snapped too. He rushed out of the place like a bat out of hell, almost like nothing had happened. I went to the bathroom and washed that nasty gunk off my
Too
hand,
late.
then thought nothing of it until I got home. That's when I found my hand was covered in hives. Later that night, it was all over my body. I started to itch. Bad. My entire body felt like it was covered in acid, but worse. I tried to take a shower then rubbed every lotion I could find on my skin. Nothing worked. Chris, oh God, poor Chris, he was my boyfriend. He asked me if I was okay. He was just trying to be sweet, but for some reason, I grabbed a knife. The next thing I remember, I was rubbing his blood all over my body. I was feeding them. The holes. The things inside them. And I need to keep feeding them too. If I don't, I think I'm going to die. Can you help me? Please.
This mate's passed away 2 days later. More information on patients exposed to the omega helminths at the St. Roch gas station, please visit subsequent files. Oh, I saw that. What was that? It looks like it was to... It's an upside down binary. Write that down and see if I can figure out at least what some of this says. And get up to the cutoff points. 0. This is fading out with a lot more video to go. Anything else? Oh. Okay. All right, so we got a little bit more description.
Stumbled into the gas station.
Of the symptoms, it seems, when she got it. Melissa Bates. And what the pus looks like. It's rough like sand and white and yellow like snot. That's appealing. All of his cysts pop. Okay. So she ended up getting hives. And that spread all over her body, and then later that night, body felt like it was covered in acid, but worse. Nothing worked. Lotions, I would imagine. Nothing worked. She killed her boyfriend, and then bathed in his blood. Then she died a couple of days later. I am going to work on this. See if this says anything. At least the numbers I can see. I know this cutoff on the left, those are going to be 2 zeros. So I will see what that says. And update in the next video. I think we're going to do 6, 7, 8, and 9. We might just finish it out in the next video. And then we'll be caught up. The email was 3 days ago, so then we'll be caught up with it. But I appreciate y'all watching. Azrael here. Sweetest man's been a little frisky this morning. And I need to go make some more coffee. What are you doing? Uh-huh. You gonna make it? Gonna make it? Alright. I will see y'all later in the next video. I hope y'all have a good day. We will talk to you later. Say bye, Azrael. Say bye. Yeah, there you go.